Hi, everyone. I know that I am muted here. We're just trying to work out some technical difficulties. Welcome to everybody. Give me just one moment and I will be back, okay? All right. We are good to go. Welcome, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I am super excited to be here with all of you and be able to connect with all of you. So this is really exciting for me and hopefully for all of you. So there's a lot of information I want to share today and really impart. This to me is one of the most important, if not the most important, trainings that I do because of how often unexplained infertility is diagnosed and what it all means. And so to me, this is really important to kind of dispel some of these myths and help you all find the real causes to what you've been told has been unexplained. And so that's why I feel so why I feel this presentation is so important for all of you because of what it means to all of you and hopefully what it could mean in the future once we have real answers. So I'm assuming everyone can hear me okay. I do see my video's on or off. No one's video will be on and everybody will be muted unless I unmute you. So you all should be fine there, not to worry. What I will say is just a couple of housekeeping items before I get started here is the chat feature does not work today. Okay, so you're not going to be chatting with me, but if you do want to post questions, then I want to invite you to post questions using the Q&A box. Okay, that is the best way for me to filter through all the questions and be able to connect with all of you and be able to answer those questions. Feel free to post questions whenever you need, but I will be answering questions at the end of the training. Okay, so that's where I'm going to be answering questions, and that little Q&A box should be across the bottom there. When you move your cursor, you should see it. So you should be able to click on that and post a little question, and you should be good to go. So in just one second, I'm going to share my screen and share my presentation, and we're going to rock and roll. Just another couple of housekeeping items. I suggest that everybody has a pad and paper, pad of paper and a pen with them or a pencil. I also suggest you've got some water or tea like I do so that you can not be distracted and you could focus on what we've got going on here today because this is important information. Additionally, I want to ask all of you to put these to silent or turn them off or put them away. Right now, I want you to focus for about the next hour on me and the information that I am going to share with all of you, because this could be really valuable, important information for everyone, okay? And I want to make sure, sorry for the shaking, I'm just moving my table, and I want to make sure that you receive everything that we have to share with you and that you're not distracted. So those are some key points there that I want to make sure that you all are aware of, and let's get going. So let me share my screen. Give me one moment here. It takes a second to do that. Give me 1 second, everybody. 1 second. Perfect. We are ready to rock and roll. I don't need to see my face. What I'm going to do here, present. All right. As you can see, we're going to today do my best. I'm going to do my best to explain the unexplained when it comes to infertility, because this is a diagnosis that I hate to see. Which of the following best describes you as you're sitting here watching and taking this all in? I want you to think about which one of these you fit into. You've been on the trying to conceive journey for a while, and the roller coaster of emotions you're experiencing are soul crushing and getting to you. It's obviously a difficult time. You're worried that there's no hope for you. You feel like you've tried everything and it could be time to quit and not keep trying. You're not sure if getting a second opinion is worth it. You're already working with your doctor, but you feel like something could be missing. I'll even add here, not just a second opinion. I'll add, is it worth getting a third or a fourth opinion, right? You feel isolated because, let's face it, most friends and family just don't get it. And you've been doing research and want to have access to a consistent and effective roadmap that helps you get pregnant. Well, if you've answered yes to any of these previous questions, then you are absolutely in the right place. I want to assure you that these are the questions that I want to support you with today, and then plenty of others. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Dr. Mark Sklar. I'm also known as a fertility expert, and I've been helping couples get pregnant naturally for over 19 years. That's right. Actually, in April, it will be 20 years. I started my career as a fertility specialist back in 2003, and I was not that interested in fertility as I personally always had digestive issues and was studying to help my own problems. But life got me on this fertility path. It had a different intention for me. And during my medical training, one of my brothers and his wife were trying to get pregnant. And at the same time, one of my first patients, actually my first patient, was dealing with PCOS. She did have other conditions, but the main one that she came to see me for was PCOS. And once I realized that my knowledge had helped them with one of the most important dreams that they had, which was obviously becoming parents, then I was sold. My life changed forever. And I always say that as much as I helped them change their lives, because they were able to have the children of their dreams and then some, because they had multiple, both my brother and the patient that I was working with. I don't think either one actually realized how impactful they were for my life, because without them and what I was able to support them through, I don't know if I'd be on this path and where I am today. And so for me, the fact that they've kind of pushed me in this direction and me being able to support them allowed me to come down into this specialty has not only helped me, but helped thousands and thousands of others. And so I'm super, super grateful for them and honored that they kind of were the key that pushed me in this direction. So I'm a family man myself, as you can see, my wife and my kids in these pictures. And I always knew I wanted to be a dad, even if it was not one, even if I was not one at that time. Helping my brother become the father of his twins and helping my patient become the mom of her little baby Faith. That's right. That's her little baby, or not so baby anymore. Open up my eyes to my true mission in life. And fast forward 19 plus years, and I have now helped thousands of women be moms in my San Diego clinic. As you can see here, this is my little baby wall in my clinic. Excuse me. And I want to do the same for you, which is why I'm having this training today. I want to be able to support you. And I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do if you've been diagnosed with unexplained infertility, and the kind of things that you can do to support your so-called unexplained issues by the end. You'll realize that there's more hope for you than what you're currently feeling, and there's more possibility and options for you as well. Just like these individuals who worked with me, right? We've got 1, 2, 3 different testimonials here, all at different times in different ways. Some were just following me, like some of you have been on social media. Some were part of my coaching program, and some have worked with me in my clinic. This is one of my favorites. She says, I hope all is well. I want to share the news that our beautiful daughter, Sky, arrived on 4/26, and she's doing well and is just perfect. Of course she is. She's your little one. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all your help and support in completing our family. What a journey it has been and how much has changed in the past year since our initial call. We are forever grateful. I'm also going to share with you the value of being supported and coached. You might think your fertility doc is there to support you, but they are not doing anything to support you outside of your specific IVF cycle when you're in your IVF cycle. And that assumes that you're actually at a fertility clinic or with an IVF doctor. If you're at your OBGYN's office, there's actually much less that they can actually be doing for you, or that they tend to do, I should say. And by the end of the training, I'll be giving you the chance to have me as your fertility coach if you want my guidance. This is an application-only program, so stay tuned on the details to apply to qualify at the end. I don't believe in unexplained infertility. So please press the reset button right now and stop thinking about yourself as a case of unexplained infertility. At the very least, for the next 40 or so minutes, maybe even more, depending on how long we go, we're going to be together. I want you to press the reset button. I want you to change your mindset and your frame of mind, okay? So let's get started. Actually, before I switch to the next slide, I do have to say that I received an email this morning. I don't know if it was prompted by me doing this training or if she was going to reach out anyway, but it's someone that I've been supporting. And she reached out still saying to me, or questioning if she had unexplained infertility. And I had to remind her of all the things we have found of the underlying causes that could be contributing to this situation. So I say that because even though I explained to her when we initially spoke that these were the things that I saw, clearly she got wrapped up again in trying to figure out why, and she believed it was unexplained. And that's not the case. And I'm telling you, it's not the case that I find when I'm working with couples, is that unexplained doesn't really exist. It means that we haven't put those pieces together, or we're not seeing the real causes, even though they're right in front of us. So that's what I want to get through today, okay? And a fertility coach is someone who has done it thousands of times and knows how to take you to the other side successfully. That's right. You would not run a marathon without training. You would not go to a test or a job interview without preparing in advance. You should not agree with your unexplained infertility diagnosis unless you're sure they tested it all. And I'm here to tell you that's not usually the case. Coaching accelerates your success, helping you get from point A to point B faster than you could on your own, and saves you the stress of having to figure it out all on your own. Also, the difficulty, not just the stress. Today in this fertility workshop, we're going deeper than you've ever gone. I want you to have all the information you need so you know if what you've done is enough and how to move forward if not. You will learn to become less reliant on your OBGYN that is more focused on the next pap smear, or a fertility clinic that is pushing you to IVF. You'll finally get the answers you've been looking for so you know where to start. But to be totally honest, infertility is just a symptom. That's right. So if you are here to learn about the magic pill that you need to take to get pregnant, I'll tell you that we need to know the root cause first. And this is what you are going to learn in this workshop. It's not about telling you the one magic pill that's going to help you get pregnant. It's about teaching you how we find the root cause so that we can find real answers. So if you have painful periods, endometriosis, missing periods, low AMH, high FSH, fibroid, cysts, unexplained infertility, adenomyosis, PCOS, advanced maternal age, recurrent pregnancy loss, failed IVFs, my answer is the same. What's the root cause causing that issue? What pieces of the fertility puzzle do we need to solve to help your body get pregnant? I'm going to tell you that even though people come to me and say, oh, I've been told that I'm too old, I'm of advanced age or advanced maternal age, that's not really a diagnosis. I mean, yes, it tells me that you're older, but it doesn't tell me what's wrong so that we can address those things, right? It's not like I can reverse the clock and make you younger. So we need to address the real issues that are at play here. The goal of this workshop is to help you understand what your body is trying to communicate by not getting pregnant or having a miscarriage, unfortunately, by sharing with you the types of investigations that we do in or within the Hope Fertility Program. So let's jump into it. Let's get started. Okay, here are the steps that I follow with the members of my Hope program and that I want you to start working on too. Number one, deep testing. Way more intensive than what you've done with your OBGYN or fertility clinic. And here is why. Because when they do their testing, they want to make sure that they're running labs to help you make sure that you're a good candidate for IVF and to help them understand how to adjust or create a medication protocol for you, okay? They're not doing it to find necessarily real answers, or they would be much more comprehensive in their scope, okay? But that's what I want to do. Number two, deep dive in lab analysis. We review your lab's history, lifestyle, habits, two different things. They are similar, but lifestyle and your habits. And we want to know everything about your case. And then three, we create a personalized plan. I'll give you the steps for you to create your own fertility plan that will help you get the results that you're looking for. So now let's get into all of that step by step so you can decide if what your doctors have done for you is enough or what else could you do to get the answers that you are looking for. As I mentioned before, the first thing we do with all of our members, and the first thing we always suggest with everybody else, is testing. I just had someone message me on Instagram maybe an hour and a half ago. She was asking me about a supplement. And she said, what supplement can I take? Or is this supplement good? I can't remember how she phrased it. And I said, I don't know if it's good for you because I base all my recommendations on supplements based on your lab results so that we know that you're just taking the right things versus just taking anything and everything. And this is part of what I mean about testing and not guessing here, okay? I said it before and I'll keep saying it forever. To know the root cause that is not letting you get pregnant, we need to test. Now, I will say that testing is not everything we look at, but it is a big part of what we do. We do that in conjunction with everything else that we look at in terms of your health history and medical history and lifestyle and so forth. But that is a big part of what we do, okay? So I'm not saying you should base everything off your labs, but I'm saying you should base a lot off of it, right? And we take that comprehensive approach to create to understand the root cause and then create that plan. And we could do this either through blood work, urine, stool, sometimes saliva, various amounts of testing from various companies. So the reason why your labs are normal is because lab ranges are relatively outdated from about 60 to 70 years ago and are based on a sick population dealing with chronic conditions. We want to base them off of healthy people. Ranges for fertility and real health are very different to what the conventional medical system is telling you. Here are the basic blood tests we review for the Hope members, and you should do these as well. Okay, you can see right here, we've got all the different sex hormones. So estradiol, which is a part of estrogen, it's specifically E2, progesterone, LH, which is luteinizing hormone, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, AMH, which is anti-Müllerian hormone, trying to cover all the acronyms, prolactin, testosterone, sex hormone binding globulin, DHEA is that last one. We want to look at your liver function, so that's what it means by hepatic function. All your thyroid labs, this is one that we often just see the top one, thyroid stimulating hormone or TSH, but I like to run all of them because I want a comprehensive thyroid analysis. I had someone just ask me, why do I have to do my antibodies if all my other ones are normal? I said, because half the time I see that everything else is normal except for the antibodies. So we want a comprehensive approach. All those metabolic panels done on the right there. And then all these key nutrients like vitamin D and your B12 and magnesium and so forth. So these are key hormones and labs that we need to run. Additionally, this one I'm not going to spend a ton of time on, but on the left side are a group of labs that we will run for someone who has had recurrent pregnancy loss. And this is just a small sample. I couldn't fit everything on this. And then on the right is all the semen analysis for men, including on the bottom, the DNA fragmentation, which is often left out, but not always necessary for everybody, but it is important. So while these are some of the blood markers we'll review in the HOPE program, many members still need to get other advanced testing, such as a Dutch test, which is a dried urine hormone test, which is one of my favorite tests. I love this. Stool tests for parasites and other digestive health issues, which also, if you've heard me talk before, I love doing stool testing. I think it's really important because we need to make sure that our digestive system is rock solid and functioning properly. Heavy metal testing potentially if needed, for sure, environmental toxins if needed, food sensitivities, tick-borne diseases, and this is just to name a few. Like I could go on and on. Okay, there's lots of different labs and tests that we could do depending on your history and your circumstances, which is why getting a very comprehensive history is so valuable and important. We know that OBGYNs and fertility clinics aren't doing these extensive tests because they are not trying to find the root cause that is not letting you get pregnant. They are evaluating your reproductive system, as I've said before, for IVF and trying to figure out if you are a good IVF candidate and what hormones or medication they're going to prescribe to you. That is what they are using the labs for in general, okay? There we go. An issue you can run into is your doctor not wanting to order all these for you. That's right. I'll tell you to advocate for yourself and find another way to do it. We can order all these tests for any of our members, both in the US and for some internationally, depending on where they are. And if you're international, there's often a lot of options that you have to order on your own. I'd also say the same thing for you in the US. You have a lot of options for being able to order these tests on your own in the US if you actually try and look for it. So that's one of the many benefits to have a personal fertility coach as well. On top of the labs, we need to review your lifestyle, your symptoms, right? Your overall health symptoms and health history, your fertility history and non-fertility health concerns. There are some questions, or sorry, excuse me, I'm about to show you. Here are some questions that you should get asked to fully evaluate your case. And these are some of the things that I dive deeper into as well. Some of the things that I like to highlight are questions around your menstrual cycle, and more specifically, not just the length of your cycle and what the blood looks like, but more specifically, are your menstrual cramps accompanied by bearing down sensation in the uterus? Do you feel your menstrual cramps in the genitalia? Do you break out with red acne? Do you have any irritations or rashes? What's your cervical mucus like? There's so many questions that we can be asking around your reproductive history and your menstruation that often don't get asked. And then here, I'm always a big fan of trying to understand more about your overall health. So there's questions about just energy level and anxiety, but always looking at your digestive health as well. And so a group of questions that I typically would like to know more about is, do you have constipation? Do you have diarrhea? Do you have blood in the stool? Do you have bad breath or canker sores or large appetite, heartburn? These are all things that are really relative, although you might not feel like they're relative. They are relative to your health and to your fertility. Now, I want you to ask yourself, have you ever been asked all these questions? Have you done all these tests? If you have not, I'm afraid nobody is looking into the root cause that is not letting you get pregnant. That's right. They're just focusing on the symptoms. And that's why you are not seeing the results that you need to see. We need to take a more comprehensive approach to your fertility and your health to get you the results that you deserve and desire. So how can you be an unexplained infertility case if your fertility doctor has not looked into all of this? That's right. A good fertility coach should also review your lifestyle habits, sleeping patterns, pathogens you've been exposed to, your diet, supplements you're taking, your water intake, your work environment, your emotional support, environmental toxins, home and beauty routine, and then so much more. If you are just eating healthy and taking supplements and checking that your tubes are open, you are doing just the minimal basics to find out. And I want to tell you, if you've been trying for a long time and you haven't been able to have at least a pregnancy, or if you've had multiple losses, we definitely need to dig deeper. We need to understand, is there something going on inside the uterus that may be contributing to your inability to have a solid implantation and get pregnant, or even hold a pregnancy? And what's going on with your body that might be causing that to not happen? So there's lots of additional questions and hence testing that comes along with that to hopefully get the results that we're looking for. Now that you know a bit more, let's look into what your fertility plan should look like. And yes, you need a comprehensive and I believe a personalized fertility plan that you can stick to and reevaluate every time you retest, so then you can tweak and adjust. That's exactly what we do in my coaching program. Is after that first plan, once we retest, then we adjust the plan to accommodate for the progress that you've made. So you should look into all these areas when you create your own fertility plan for unexplained infertility. Now we'll review them together, but first, let me show you how a real fertility plan should look like. And this is like what I call my fertility wheel, my fertility plan. These are all the areas that we want to look for and look in. And I tried to keep it to 12, which is why we have it like this. But there's actually more that aren't even included here that I've kind of squeezed into these categories to make it work. So this is what a fertility plan will start to look like. There's a whole section, very comprehensive, on diet and the structure and outline of the things you should be eating and not eating. There's a whole section on lifestyle and stress management to make sure that you're getting what you need. Sections on sleep. This is a real life, example of a plan that I might write for somebody, by the way. Sleeping recommendations, skincare and beauty products, timing of intercourse, ovulation tracking, home therapies that would be useful in your specific situation, supplement protocol that you should be following and taking into account the supplements you're currently taking so that we can have a comprehensive approach and we're not missing anything. Obviously, if there's something going on with your partner, we want to make sure that we address that. And then next steps, where do we go from here? How often do we check in? And how do we move forward? So question for you. Have you been told that everything is normal, but after seeing all of this, you are realizing that you have not even scratched the surface of getting started? That's right. That is not uncommon to happen when we start going through these issues with those members in the coaching program. And I get it. We see that often with our members, and we are just getting started right now. Let's keep reviewing what else you should consider before we get into reviewing the areas so you can create your own fertility plan. For example, ongoing support and retesting are key for your progress. If you keep doing the same thing forever without testing, how do you know what's working? If you always take the same supplements, how do you know if you need them? That's right. So one thing that I encourage all the members in the program to do is after that first plan, and I mentioned this before, is we want to retest about 3 to 4 months later in most cases, although in some it's a bit different. And we want to evaluate that progress so that we can actually adjust and modify your plan if needed to move forward to the next phase of things. I actually just did that this morning. I put in a lab order for a member of the program this morning who's been doing it for about a little over 3 months, and we need to retest at her next cycle so we can see her progress and know what to adjust in her plan. And this is an example of that. This woman is, or was when she posted this, age 40. On cycle day 4, her AMH had gone up. This was why she was posting this. Her AMH had gone up dramatically. And even though it was still low, it went up from 0.03 to 0.17. And that's a huge shift in a 6-month time frame for her. This is another testimonial. Tested my cycle day 2 hormones yesterday. FSH is the lowest I've ever seen it, 4.6, and almost fell out of my chair. LH is 3.7, also the lowest I've ever seen it. Estradiol is 217. My AMH also shot up and more than doubled since last month, more than tripled since 2 weeks ago. Still low though, but it's perspective, right? She understands that. Super thrilled. My TSH is at its lowest so far, 1.46, which is huge. We worked hard on that for her. But my DHEA has dropped, so she's concerned about her DHEA. Progress is not a linear line that just does this. We make progress in some areas, then we have to adjust some things like we did for her after this to get everything else back to where it needs to be so she could move forward with her plan. So the ongoing support is super important, like I just mentioned, right? We want to adjust, not only for retesting, but also to touch base and get emotional support. The HOPE members can meet with me weekly. That's right, we meet weekly. And how often do you talk to your fertility doctor to actually get questions answered? I hear often how valuable our weekly calls are, how they feel listened to and supported through the ups and the downs of their fertility cycle or their IVF cycle. We just had a woman post this weekend saying she doesn't, she had questions about her IVF cycle and she couldn't believe how supportive, not just me, but everyone in the group has been. And she really can't imagine going through this process without all of us supporting her through it. So it was really heartwarming for me to read that. Just giving you an unexplained infertility diagnosis and leaving you with no answers, it's not good enough. We need ongoing support. And that's what we see here. Hi, Mark Ilonica, which is one of my other team members. I ovulated yesterday and will start the estrogen patches to get ready for a mild stimulation protocol, egg retrieval next month. I've gotten quite busy with work, so sleep patterns and diet are not as great as I'd like. I still try to get at least 6 hours of sleep and largely kept to a paleo diet, but I'm traveling for work the next couple of weeks, which will make it harder to eat meat that isn't grass-fed organic, eat food that isn't gluten or dairy-free. Any suggestions? So that's why she's reaching out. She wants suggestions. What can I do right now to get the support that I need moving forward, knowing that I have a hard time? And there I started to answer her and told her what the best thing she could do is. The same thing here, right? We have the same situation here where they have questions about what's going on, and I answered and supported them to get through it. And she even says, that makes me feel so much better. Thank you, right? This is what we're doing throughout, is supporting our members at every stage. Whenever they've got questions, they post them or they join the calls and we answer those questions for them. Again, a whole series of back and forth to make sure that she got the support that she needed. Now, let me ask you again, how often do you talk with your OBGYN or RE? That's your fertility doctor, by the way, if you didn't know. Constant evaluation, retesting, and support are super important if you want to succeed. And let me ask you something else. How often do you talk with your friends about what you are going through? Do you have a strong community that really understands what you are going through, that gives you ongoing support in that community where you feel supported? Is as important as ongoing evaluation, because this is not an easy ride. And that's also part of what we do in the program, is everybody supports and lifts each other up, right? It's not just me supporting the members, it's all the members supporting each other. This is a wonderful example of that, right? Oh no, stay positive, girl. The mind can be really cruel at times. So someone was just posting how difficult it was. That's right. And so these are real examples of real members being supported throughout the process. Trying to find a community where you can express how you feel without getting the, oh, just keep trying, it will happen, or just relax, you'll get pregnant, is very difficult. And that's what we see in our program. One of the main things your fertility coach should do for you is help you regain happiness and that awesome sense of hope you get when you feel in control of your own health and your own life. That's one of the things I strive for as well. It's important to celebrate the small wins too. Sometimes we are so focused on the end result that we forget all the progress we've accomplished. Progress is often done in baby steps, right? You are worthy of a child. And it's okay to post that, right? So someone was posting that for herself and for everybody else in the group. And then someone else posted this because she knows how often I talk about baby steps. I want to share this with this beautiful community. the importance of small steps. Those small steps make it easier to accomplish your bigger goals. Without being able to take those small steps up the ladder, you can't climb up the larger steps. And you can see that person, it's so much harder to reach that larger step without the smaller steps. And you can do it faster with the baby steps. And that's what this is an example of, and exactly what we tried to accomplish. Here we have a member who had a big win. She had a positive pregnancy test, and she posted it, and everybody was posting and commenting in words of encouragement and support. The same thing here. This person just went through her frozen embryo transfer, and it worked. She got a positive pregnancy test, and everybody was posting and supporting them. Additionally, here, big wins. Like sometimes it's not just a positive pregnancy test, although in this case it was, and everyone is posting to support. So with all of this, let's talk about the main areas your fertility plan should have. These are the ones that we are going to cover today. Okay, so you see we're back to this fertility wheel, if you will, okay? And this is what a fertility plan is ideally touching on, obviously in areas that are needed. If you don't have issues, let's just say with autoimmunity or inflammation or structural issues, then there's no reason to touch on it as long as it was evaluated. So at the very least, we should be evaluating diet, stress, exercise, obviously your hormones, your environment, your digestive system, which is often overlooked, but if you followed me for any length of time, you know that I talk about this all the time. Your mind-body connection, any real structural issues. And with that, I'll also say not just physical structural issues that you can see, but are there issues inside the uterine cavity that might be impacting your ability to get pregnant? Maybe there's inflammation, an imbalance in microbiome, maybe there's an infection, all sorts of things that need to be looked at, but definitely structural issues, autoimmune issues if they're there, but we need to rule them out, inflammation, toxins, and sleep. And I will say, this is not just for you as a female, this is also for you as a man. We need to look at all of these areas on both partners to make sure that everybody is doing their best to help the process move forward in a smooth fashion. So nutrition. I'm not going to get into what your diet should look like, but it's very important you understand that your nutrition is key for your health and fertility. So here are a couple of basic guidelines. And I do want to make sure and highlight right here that diet should still be individualized for each one of us. Even if I told all of you that someone just mentioned, I think someone commented about a paleo diet. So even if I told all of you to be on a paleo diet, it would still probably look a little bit different for you and for me and everybody else, because we still have to adjust it for our needs culturally. What are our findings? How do we make it work for all of what's going on for us? Days we're working, not working, those sorts of things. So it's really important that we still customize and have a specific guideline for ourselves. So protein, carbs, and fats. That's right. We want to make sure that protein is at least 30%, that fat is at least 40%, and carbs 30%. They could be, some of these numbers could be a little bit lower depending on circumstances and adjusting, but this is what I like to call my 40-30-30 rule, because we don't get enough fat in our diet. And if I can get you to have 40% of your diet, of your meals in fat, I think we would be doing really, really well, because it helps satiate you, it's filling, it balances out your other foods, and really helps your hormones as well. Mind, body, and stress. That's right. So we're incorporating these two categories together because of how much they support one another. The journey to motherhood is a tough one. If it often takes all your mental space, it's all you can think about and feel like your life is on hold. Don't let that happen. I teach my couples many tools to take control of their lives, enjoy and have fun again with their partners, and not be wrapped up all the time in the trying part. It doesn't mean that you're not trying. It means that every waking hour is not spent thinking about it. For example, Here are two different suggestions you can start doing right away. There are many more that I do give within the program, but for the sake of keeping this training not extremely long, we'll be focused on just a few of these today. So right here, number one is create the list of things you love and start doing them. I know this sounds simple, but most of you actually do not do this. The first thing I enjoy is X. You're going to fill in that blank. I'm going to dedicate time for myself to do this on X day. So you've got to, again, fill in the blank. When are you going to commit to doing this? And at this time. And then you're going to do it. And you've got to schedule that in your calendar like you would schedule anything else, a doctor's appointment, anything. Okay. And then creating a fertility morning routine. This is just an example. It doesn't have to be exactly what you do, but if you want to follow that, that's fine. 5 minutes of cuddling with your partner. How often this actually does not happen in the morning. You wake up, you get out of bed, you hit the snooze alarm or you hit the alarm, you turn it off, you roll out of bed and off you go without acknowledging that beautiful person sitting next to you that you spend your days with and is so valuable and important to you and that you're trying to create a baby with. So take some time to acknowledge that person and spend some quality time. Doesn't have to be long, but it needs to be quality. Then before rushing out of bed, maybe do a 5-minute meditation and breathing. It can be shorter if you need to, but this is so important and really, really valuable for us. And then 5 minutes of writing positive affirmations or repeating your positive affirmations. If you've already written them, then let's go through them and repeat those affirmations. Then get up, drink a big glass of room temperature water, move your body, stretch, go for a short walk, jump up and down, get moving. This is a great way to start your morning and a wonderful routine. And this is just an example. You can make one of for your own that is more appropriate for you given your circumstances, okay? And then an extra tip, do not isolate yourself. I find this too often that we isolate ourselves. Spend time with your friends and family and those people that you love to spend time with. The more we isolate, the more we ruminate, the more we get caught up in our thoughts about this. Okay, environmental toxins and the environment. Is your environment, personal products, your home, or your habits not letting you get pregnant? That's right. Are these getting in the way of your fertility? And I know many of you might say, no, they're not, but have you actually spent time to look at them and deal with it? So clean up the toxins in your house and replace them with cleaner options. Such as cooking products, right? Like, what are you cooking with? How do you cook with them? What pots and pans? This is an expensive one to change, but you could still do it one at a time. And actually one of the more important ones, because all those non-stick toxic coating pans contribute to your hormone imbalance. They are endocrine disruptors and throw off your hormones and your fertility. So this one is a huge one. Review your beauty products. This is often overlooked, but so important. Make clean swaps. Get rid of toxic people in your life. I know this sounds funny or can be difficult, but those people who don't love you and don't make you feel happy and bring joy to your life and don't resonate with you need to be axed. They need to be got rid of, okay? You need to only have people around you that really lift you up. Don't allow negative energy, especially about your fertility. And do you watch TV and computer and use your computer at night or your phone for that matter? Then let's stop doing that before bed. An hour or two before bed, just turn everything off, start to decompress, relax, spend some quality time with your partner, connect with them before bed. Those are some key things that you can do to help clean up your environment. Want to get serious about detoxing? Stop doing things you don't like and are causing more stress. Stop being with people you don't want to be around and are making you unhappy. We just talked about that, right? Stop watching the news, TV, or social media. It is just stressful. Excuse me. Try doing a detox for 21 days and see how you feel. I'm actually over my 21 days. I started a detox over 3 weeks ago. Thursday will be 4 weeks, and I feel awesome. And I'm doing all of these things that I'm mentioning to all of you right now. This is something that I teach you inside the program. We do a 21-day detox so you can reset your fertility and get pregnant faster. That's right. And so many, by the way, I should mention, so many members say that that alone has been life-changing for them. And I often hear that after that, so many of our members say that they are pregnant, or their hormones regulated, or their AMH improved, whatever it might be. There are a few other very important areas that you need to review when you have your lab results. If you need more support on this, I'm about to tell you how you can get that help. So I couldn't cover all of this information in this training, but I want you to know there's obviously more that needs to be looked at. So today you've learned about the importance of deep testing. You know the types of questions you should be asking or be getting asked by your doctor. You've seen what a personalized fertility plan entails. You are aware of the importance of ongoing support and retesting, and hopefully understand that you need a supportive community as well. So if you're thinking, how can I get your support, Mark? It's super easy. All you have to do is to apply to qualify. Just go to marksklar.com/discovery call. We'll post that in the chat boxes or the Q&A section for everybody. But at home, all you have to do is do marksklar.com/discovery call, fill out some of the questions that we ask there. And if you qualify, you'll be able to book a call with my team to review your application and decide together if the HOPE program is the right program for you. My team and I have limited time, and we're 10,000% committed with our patients and our members, and we expect the same from our soon-to-be moms, which is all of you. If you're still watching this training, congratulations, because it means you're dedicated to your future baby and are ready to take action to become more fertile. And this is the first step to apply to qualify, so you can get a fertility coach dedicated to help you get pregnant and have a healthy baby as fast as possible, but in the right way. So you'll only be able to enroll if we believe you can, if we believe that we can help you. And so there's nothing to lose and so much to win. If you want my support to get pregnant, there are 10 spots open in the HOPE program, and I'd love to be your fertility coach. And again, all you have to do to apply is go to marksklar.com/discovery call. So I know many of you have questions right now, and I want to get to those. If you are able to post those questions, I'm going to stop sharing right now. There we go. We're back. Beautiful. If you are, if you've got questions, then just post those in the Q&A section or in the chat box, and we will do our best to get those questions. I've got questions compiled here, and I'm going to start with some other questions right here, and we're going to get rocking and rolling. All right. Will we get a recording of this webinar? Yes, you will. As long as you're registered, you will get a link to watch the replay if you need it. Someone asked, hello, if AMH is very, very low, pregnancy won't work? Okay, so I want to highlight this, okay? And then the same person asked, can you make AMH more? In this case, she meant better or higher or improved. So I don't know if any of you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, but I just posted about a research study that was just done, okay? It was just published in January, and this was done by the publication Fertility and Sterility, which is a publication from the American Society of Reproductive Medicine, ASRM. And what it showed is that your hormone levels, your fertility markers, meaning AMH, FSH, and inhibin B, are not good markers of your ability to conceive and have a live birth. That's right. You heard it here, Irina. AMH, and this is not my words, although I have said this many, many times, is not a good indicator of your ability to conceive and have a healthy child. That's right. So I'm not saying that AMH is not important and that we don't want to improve it, but I'm saying that we can't base all of our decisions on this one hormone or this one marker or these combined markers. We need to take a more comprehensive approach, which is what I've been talking about, to be able to know if you can get pregnant and what we need to do to make that happen and improve it. So yes, I have seen AMH improve hundreds of times, and I believe that it can happen with the right plan, but I also believe that it's much more than just your AMH. All right. I'm 47. I have been trying for 10 years now. I had 2 IVF cycles, but they ended with no pregnancy. Now no periods, and last one was September 19th. FSH is 20, estradiol is 105, prolactin is 6.5, TSH is 1.8, AMH is 0.03, and I have tried everything but not working. Please, what should I do? Really, right now, the most important thing really needs to be getting your cycles back, because if we don't have a cycle, you're not ovulating, and it's going to be hard for you to conceive on your own. I also think at 47, unless you're considering a donor, and I'm not saying you should, I'm just saying unless you're considering a donor, I don't think you should be going towards IVF, because your chances of IVF being successful for you are really, really low. And I think that trying naturally would be fine, as long as we are able to improve your cycles and get you to ovulate. Hello, Dr. Mark. I have to leave, but can you send it to me? I'm not sure what you mean, Carrie, but we will do our best. Let's see here. Okay. Some have asked in terms of what are the details around the Hope Coaching Program and what does it entail. I recommend that you join, or that you apply to join and schedule that call with my team, and they can answer all your questions about what does it include, what do you get with it, how do you work with us. All of those questions would be answered during that time. Okay. Someone says, I am an Indian and we have eating traditions of wheat flour, roti with food. I'm familiar, and we have a lot of Indian couples in my program. I'm trying to eat all the food you have recommended, but many times like to eat roti. Can I go with it or stop wheat flour at all? I don't know your situation. I don't know your case, so it's hard for me to tell you to stop eating wheat flour or not. I will tell you that within my program, there are many who need to stop, and they've been able to do it successfully. And there's many other options of different types of flours you can use to make your breads. Let's see here. How can I get my husband on board with a new fertility plan, or with listening to someone who is not our personal doctor? He is gung-ho about only listening to our reproductive expert. We've had 3 failed IVF rounds, and he's stuck on the fact that the doctor said our egg and sperm can't grow on their own. So this is a hard one to answer. The first thing is, if we're not open to new possibilities, new options, it's hard to change somebody's mind. Okay. But I also say the definition of insanity is continue to do the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. If you continue to do the same protocols and same plans with the same doctor, how do you expect to get a different result? In my mind, you should be getting a second or third opinion. One way to approach it with him is to just say, well, why can you just watch this recording, right? If that's what you want him to do, I don't know. The other thing is to say, well, can we speak to 1 or 2 other people? We're not committing to anybody else. We're just listening to what they have to say to see if that's even an option for us, right? It's all in how we approach it. And so I would try some of those things. You can have him watch my videos. I don't know what else, but I'm happy to support you and answer those questions as best as I can. Thank you, Mark, for the seminar. My husband has low sperm motility and count. We have been trying for 4 years. Please, what do we do? Well, we've got to improve that motility and that count, and it can be done. I see this all the time. We see huge progress in those numbers if we know the root cause. So low motility and low count are not they're causes for your fertility struggles, but that in and of themselves, there has to be a cause for those things, right? And that's what we need to figure out, so we know how to support you as best as we can. But we do see this all the time. I will be 46 this year. Is it too late for me? I noticed that my periods are getting lighter and shorter. Is it too late to use my eggs? Well, I would say that it just depends how you want to approach it. Everybody has a different preference. The woman we spoke to previously already had tried IVF, and maybe for her, trying naturally was the only thing. Maybe for you, you're open to a donor. I'm not suggesting you need it again. I'm just saying if you're open to it, that might be something to investigate. I would say that specifically in this situation, I'd want to support your hormones, your cycles and your bleed to make sure they are healthy enough to produce good quality eggs so that you have a chance every month. That would be my focus first and foremost. Okay. Please, I've tried IVF and had implantation failure, even though my embryos were grade A. What could be the cause? This is where we look inside the uterus, and we need to investigate what's going on inside the uterus to know if there's any issues there. That's what this is telling me, that we need to see what's causing the implantation failure. Is there an infection, inflammation, other uterine issues that might be at play? I am a past member that wants to restart the program up again. Do I just reach back out to Lonica? You can, or you can just reach back out to any of our team members to help you with that. Absolutely, Rebecca. What should I do if I had an early miscarriage and 5 months later, a chemical? Should I be getting a specific labs done? If so, which ones? Yes, I would. If you had an early miscarriage and then a chemical, to me, this is 2 back-to-back losses. And so I would absolutely be looking at getting some more in-depth testing. If you have not had all the basic tests that I recommend, that's always where I start. If they're not new, meaning they haven't, you had them maybe a year ago or more, then I would still start there. And then I would add in blood clotting labs and autoimmune labs as well. And then maybe even beyond that, depending on the circumstances. Like I just mentioned for this last question, we want to look inside the uterus as well to find out what's going on. How important is it to have uterine lining thickness for successful IVF? We've done FET twice. First time I had medicated cycle, 6.5 millimeter lining, but resulted in a chemical. The last time modified natural FET had 6.8 with 2 embryos. It did not implant at all. Yeah, I mean, for some, they might not be able to get higher than this. I think depending on the person, we definitely want to try to improve that. And we typically have seen it improve quite a bit. Ideally, I would like to get that closer to 8 or higher. How does endometriosis play a part in infertility? All of my labs appear to be fine, including sperm analysis, but I have endo. We've had 3 failed IUIs. I'm 27. Endometriosis absolutely plays a role. Inflammation, immune issues, implantation failure, all sorts of things. There's lots that needs to be evaluated when it comes to endometriosis, but it's a huge variable and factor that needs to be accounted for and managed properly to give you a fair chance. Hi, Mark. Thank you so much for all your help and inspiration. I'm based in the UK and wondering how all the lab testing, et cetera, works remotely. We have many members in the UK, Priya, and that's not an issue. We've not found it to be an issue. It can be a little bit more challenging because of your healthcare system. There's also several labs that you can go to on your own. And then on occasion, we've ordered labs from here for you. But we've typically been able to make all of that work. What are some tips to advocate for ourselves in terms of fighting to get more diagnostic testing done in the fertility clinic? Look, I think this is a wonderful question and a really practical question. Actually, one of the things that I'm often guiding members on in the program is this exact thing. How do you advocate for yourself? How do you speak to your fertility doctor to get specific testing done? Where do we go from here? The reality is that they should be able to do all of these tests, but they don't want to. And so you just have to give them a reason to not say no. You have to say, there's really no reason. We've looked at everything else. We've tried everything else. We don't have these answers. I want more answers and I want these tests run. Please order these for me. If you're willing to pay for them, there should be no reason why they can't order them. So you just need to be more forceful, I feel like, to get those done. And I think more creative. Maybe some of those tests you can get done someplace else. Maybe some of those tests you can get on your own. If you're working with me, we can order those tests. So it's also about being creative with it. I have TPO antibodies, but TSH, free T3, free T4 are all in optimal ranges. Is a gluten and dairy-free diet important in my case? Yes. My husband also has Hashimoto's and high TSH, 6.9. That's very high. Can this affect sperm quality? Yes. All of this is important to be handled 100%. Absolutely. And the number one thing that improves any autoimmune issue, I might say number one and two things, is diet and lifestyle. 100%. Everything else is just allowing that to happen faster. I am 43 years old. Last year, I went to look for options of IVF, but IVF doctor asked me to go with donor egg, but I don't want to just look for that option. Since then, I am following to do all fertility things, diet, supplements, acupuncture, but almost 1 year with no success. So my question is, with your HOPE program, for how long I will get support? My HOPE program is a lifetime program. Once you're in, you're always in. If you want to get support for your first pregnancy, for your second pregnancy, for your third pregnancy, for your fourth pregnancy, just join me, ask questions in the group, and we're always there to support you. So it's a lifetime program, always there for you once you're joined. What's the best way to get answers from our fertility doctor in regards to sperm count, motility, etc.? Just ask for the reports. Yeah, have the reports sent to you. If you have not had all your lab reports and don't have copies of them, then I would highly suggest that you ask for a copy of your medical file. When we have previously asked, all they said was that the sperm was normal. Just get a copy. What are optimal numbers for sperm? What should my husband do to get to optimal numbers? It's a lot of information. So without looking at the numbers, it's hard for me to guide you. But I'll tell you which numbers we want. We want on sperm count at least 15 million and concentration at least 15 million. But I prefer to see higher, so 50 to 100. Motility should be at least at 40%, but I would love to see it over 50%. And morphology should be at least 4% or higher. No luck with IVF, 2 chemical pregnancies in August and December. What should I do? We need to look deeper to find out what's going on. This is the same thing I've said previously about this topic, which is really wanting to get answers, and we need to dive deeper into your labs, make sure all the testing has been done, and then start to do more comprehensive, more advanced testing so that we can start to find out the real reason for what's going on. All the 2 IVFs, I use donor. What should I do to get my period back and try naturally? I don't know your case. I do think that's the right question to ask because we want to get your cycles back on track and ovulating regularly so you can try, but I don't know without looking at your situation. I will say one thing you can do is start with a detox, that's for sure. Actually, this is the same. This question is about a detox, this next one. I've started with changing my diet and detox. How long would I start to see any changes or positive results? I'm 43, trying for 3 years, and I've had no pregnancies. You should know you should see changes with your diet and health within about 4 weeks. And then we need to start to see more results beyond that with your cycles and your hormones and your bleeding and so forth. Yeah. But that's just the start of it. Thank you, Mark. Hi, Mark. I'm in the UK. Please, how can I partake in your fertility treatment? Just apply to join, and then we can guide you through it with all the questions once we have our call with you. And we'll tell you how it all works. But we have many, many couples in the UK. I have endometriosis and have had 3 laparoscopies. I'm in Australia and wondering how to do tests. There's lots of different ways. We will definitely need somebody there to help support you with some of the testing to be done, but there's also a lot of tests that you can order on your own. So it's going to be a combination of things there, Crystal. Yeah. All right. Lots of great questions. Thank you, everybody. I had 1 round of IVF with failed embryo transfer. Subsequent polypectomy, but I have a cyst that developed and is causing pain. So considering removal, is that necessary for another round of natural conception? Should I be concerned about inflammation? I am concerned about inflammation. I'm also concerned about removing that cyst because they could damage the ovary when they remove that cyst. and that could damage your AMH levels because they end up taking out tissue from your ovary. So maybe the first step, and you can discuss this with your doctor, is maybe draining the cyst first and seeing if that would be helpful. But then we need to deal with the inflammation and the cyst so these things don't return. Why hasn't my husband been tested for anything? I don't know. He had a few sperm labs, and that was it. In 4 years, no one asked him for hormone labs or anything like that. Whilst I have had to do countless tests and everything is coming out normal. 100% agree with you. I would ask him to do more as well. A new semen analysis, some hormone testing, maybe a DNA fragmentation, maybe an ultrasound on his testes. Absolutely, those things need to be done. And I can't answer why, but I think they're important. If my third IUI resulted in a chemical, should I attempt to move forward with 3 more IUIs? I'm 30 years old. I don't know that I would commit to 3 more. Maybe you can commit to 1 more, but I don't know enough about your case to really be able to tell you, Sarah. I apologize for that. I already read that. Thanks so much, Mark. Big fan from Germany. Oh, thank you. That's really sweet. I'm wondering what a normal period is. Mine is heavy on first 2 days. That's fine. Day 3, there is nothing. We'd like to see it be something. And then day 4 to 6 is spotting. I'd like to see it taper a little bit more. And then I'd like to see it be bright red, no spotting in the beginning, no pain, and then just start. So there are things here that I definitely want to see improve. We can always start by cleaning up our diet to see if those things will improve before we move on to anything else. I want to answer some other questions that have come in. Let's see here. I had 2 missed pregnancies in 7 pregnancy week. Any reason for the loss? Any issues? What can the reason for losses be? Many issues. Top 3 are going to be genetic issues, genetic abnormalities, autoimmune issues, and blood clotting variables. So those are things that need to be addressed. My doctor tried to put me on thyroid medicine. My test results came back at 2.53. And then after being on medicine for 30 days, blood work was done again, and it jumped to 7.86. Wow, that's strange. I wonder what they put you on. Yes, my doctor said it was not the thyroid, it was thyroid antibodies. Well, then the thyroid antibodies need to be addressed if that's the case. It doesn't seem like they have. So that would be where I would look next. Is evening primrose oil a good supplement to take? My rule of thumb is any supplement is a good supplement to take, but is it the right supplement for you? And so I like to base this off of your medical history, what you're trying to accomplish, and your lab results. And so really the question is not, is it a good supplement? The question should be, is it a good supplement for you? Which I can't answer until I review your case. So Dr. Mark, I got trigger shot after a scan. After 10 days, I did blood tests, no pregnancy, no periods, and now it's 15 days late. What could be the reason? The reason you're late is because of the trigger shot. Someone says, hello, my AMH is 0.02. I need your help. I am happy to help you, and the best way for me to do that is to join my program. You can apply to join by going to marksklar.com/discovery call. Yeah. Let's see. What happens if your IVF tells you after harvesting many eggs that they all not good, and you are 43 years old and you are afraid to try because you get disappointed? Their true hope for that? Just asking first before. There can absolutely be hope for that, because just because your eggs weren't good quality one time doesn't mean that they won't be in the future. And additionally, I would say that just because your eggs were not considered good during IVF doesn't mean it's an issue with you. It could have been the protocol. The medications that they gave you could have impacted the quality of the eggs that you produced for that given cycle. Yeah. Someone said, does Mark work with new clients, and is Mark involved in the program? It's a program. I'm 100% involved. I work with everybody that's in the program. I run and I'm on all the calls. I'm answering questions in our private group. I am 100% involved. with my program, but I also have a team of other people to help me do that to support all of you. So good question, but absolutely, it's my program. I'm there for you. Hello, I'm 42 years old. AMH is 1.86, which is great. I had 3 miscarriages and went to IVF with PGT and 5 abnormal embryos. My doctor suggests not to go to the next IVF cycle and try natural conception. Any ideas? Look, you've been able to conceive. So for me, it's a matter of understanding why you haven't been getting pregnant. It could be from abnormal embryos, but I don't think that's always the case. And just because they were abnormal this time doesn't mean that they're always abnormal. But I do think we need to dig here. And I'm really sorry to hear about all the miscarriages and the difficulty. I'm 34. My FSH is 22. LH is 37. Prolactin is 26. AH is 0.02. Can I have babies? With these numbers, unfortunately, it's going to be very, very difficult. So the first thing that needs to happen is those numbers need to be improved. Your age is working for you, so you can take a little bit of time to improve those numbers, and hopefully that will give you the chance that you deserve. What could be the cause of no cervical mucus? It's typically a hormone imbalance. Yeah. So that's something that we need to look at, and typically that's estrogen. I heard NAD is good for bad quality eggs. So there's lots of misconception here. We have NAD, we have NMN, and we have NR, these two things, and they feed NAD. The research has been done on these up here, NMN and NR, not on NAD. Actually, NAD didn't show any improvement when we took it. So if you're taking NAD or NAD+, that in of itself is probably not going to benefit you. We need the precursors to that to benefit egg quality. But only in older women at the right dosage. Hello, doctor. Sorry, I needed a cup of water. A glass of water. These are great questions. Hello, doctor. What do you suggest when a woman has low testosterone? I don't have interest in sex lately. Could it be because of the low testosterone? Correct. We don't want your testosterone to be too high, but we do need it to be at a normal level. And this will help to improve your hormones overall. Is it possible to have PCOS after a tubal reversal? It would be strange that it just came on after. I bet you it was there before. Yeah. Having infertility issues, I had my submucosal fibroid polyps removed in December. AMH was 0.05 before my fibroid removal. Found out recently I have 3 more fibroids. What are the chances of conceiving? It depends on where they are, where in the uterine tissue they are as well, not just in the structure. There's lots of variables that I just can't answer right now to give you an idea of what that really means for your fertility and how it implicates it. I need help with my thyroid and thyroid antibodies. I would be happy to help. I do this within my coaching program. You can apply at marksklar.com/discovery call. What are possible reasons for loss of cervical mucus? Really hormones. And I find that if we take certain medication, by the way, that can cause this. And if we've been on too many IVF meds or hormones for IVF, that can also cause this problem. I'm waiting for my AMH test results to come back. All my other tests are normal. Does that mean that this test will come back normal? Not necessarily. And I often hear, if you've listened to my workshop today, often hear all my tests are normal. Did you actually run everything? I'm telling you, I find this in 98% of everyone we work with is you haven't done enough of the right tests, or that they are not looked at properly, meaning they're not interpreted correctly. So there's lots of variables around that. I'm going to answer a few more questions and see if we can keep going a little bit. Does having a lighter period in the past few years indicate thinner uterine lining? It doesn't necessarily indicate that. It does mean that your hormones are shifting. We want to support that. Does your program help couples conceive naturally after failed IVFs? All the time. We see that all the time. About 50% of the couples who join my program have tried IVF already and are coming to us. Yeah. Thanks, Mark, for this. I started spotting since day 14 till now, which I'm supposed to get my period, but it's spotting. I only see it after wiping. It doesn't stain my clothes. I have not seen my period. I'm scared of taking the pregnancy test. Sorry, I had to figure out what you said there. And I've been trying for almost 4 years. Please help. The first thing I would say is take the test because you need to know. And two, you need to find out why you've been spotting. And so I would call your OBGYN. Yeah, there's not much I can do for you right now until I were to evaluate everything. Could you share some vegetables and fruits for inflammation in ovaries found during hysteroscopy and laparoscopy surgeries? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Like, we want to increase our vegetable intake and fruit intake. And we've got to, and in this case, I would say it's really important, the quality of the food that you're eating in this situation, more importantly. I don't know what you're looking for here. You can definitely take some turmeric for that as well. That's helpful. Yeah. Hi, Mark. How can you get my personal contact information? I don't give that out. I do, if you want to work with me and talk with me, then I do that within my coaching program. Again, marksklar.com/discovery call. You can also find me on social media, on Instagram or Facebook, and message me there. Okay, lots of good questions. Let's see here. Let's see here. What type of detox should I use if I want to do it? I would start with just cleaning up the diet. That's what I would do in terms of a detox, and go from there. Yeah. What's this other question? Someone says, can I take DIM? Possibly, but I don't know until I look at your hormones. Yeah. I did IVF and had to wait longer to extract my eggs. A majority were greater than 21 millimeters. What are the maximum size that might be still viable? I'm 42 years old. Typically, as we get older, we want to retrieve them a little bit earlier. I would say probably viable is about 22 to 24, although I prefer to get them somewhere between 16 and 20. And not me getting them, prefer you to have them retrieved, I should say. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's see here. I think I've got one more question. Thanks, Mark, for answering my questions. I signed up for your HOPE program, didn't get a call. You probably didn't sign up for that, or you'll, let me read this. Yeah, so if you applied and didn't get a call, you said, then you probably did not apply for my program. You probably applied for something else. Maybe it was this. If you apply for my program, after you apply, you'll be given the option to schedule a call if you qualify to talk with my team. Additionally, you should get an email as well with the information on how to schedule that call if you applied and applied successfully. If you mean you didn't get a call, meaning you did all of that and then you scheduled your call, but you didn't get a call at that point, then if that's the case, then I would suggest that you reach out to my team to confirm and reschedule that. It really just depends, but you do have to fill out the form, qualify, and then you'll get access to the calendar of my team members where they will help you, where you will get scheduled to talk with them and they'll be able to answer all your questions. All right, everyone, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully you found value today. I really appreciate you being here. Your questions were amazing. And I really, most importantly, want to help you all know and believe that there are answers to the unexplained diagnosis that you have. And there are real reasons why this is all happening. And I want you to get those results and, more importantly, get pregnant. So thanks so much for joining and being here. Again, hope to work with many of you within my coaching program if that's what you desire to do. And again, you can do that at marksklar.com/discovery call. You all have a wonderful